This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Warn, Colby Valve, and 4 Patriots.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 437, Glue Tread.
Tonight, Aaron buys a boat, Coy is old, and Ben puts a bus into the ditch.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. So tonight are Aaron, Coy, and my name is Ben. And tonight we are joined by Andy from Glue Tread. And welcome to the show.
Ben, your audio sounds a little weak. I'm not sure if you're a little far from the microphone, if you moved away or something.
Oh my goodness.
It was doing this the
quiet.
other week where his volume was going up and down. I imagine it's doing the same thing.
Oh my goodness. I just can't.
Oh, remember it was that one button that you had to press where it was like not picking up your audio if you turned your head or something?
Probably. How's that?
Yeah.
Better?
It sounds perfect right now.
Okay.
Don't turn your face.
No
Don't turn your face.
Change your face. Just don't turn.
I'm gonna cut out a plywood thing for you to just like stick your head in and it like holds it still, locks you in place.
Good luck.
Well,
Get him one of those plywood cutouts where it's like, where your face goes where a bear or a farm animal is, like at the fair, hold his face in there.
It's all painted as something else. You just stick your head through it.
There's a Bigfoot and then his face there and his mic just perfectly.
Yeah. I'm excited, you guys. I bought a boat. I showed it to Coy on Saturday morning. Coy, by the way, Coy and I went to a local Toys for Tots event at Wanderlust Overland, who we've had on the show. It's been a few years, but I bought a boat for the Toys for Tots thing. So it was just a small little plastic boat, not a real boat. I don't think I'll ever buy a boat. They're just a money suck. So yeah, I bought a boat and immediately got rid of it. That's probably the best thing you can do if you get a boat.
I've heard that the happiest you'll ever be is when you buy a boat and then when you sell a boat.
Yeah. The second happiest is when you sell the boat.
Yeah.
Besides buying a boat, been doing a little bit of planning. Coy and I have a snow trip coming up here in about 1 month. I'm excited about that. We're actually, the only thing we're planning is the menu right now. We don't care about anything else. We're just talking about what we're going to eat on this trip.
We're hitting
we
the
always try to
important
do it up
stuff.
right. Yeah.
Well, you need calories while you're freezing, right?
Absolutely. It's really important. So besides planning for that, on Sunday, I finally got some time to myself over the weekend and I started insulating my shop. Bought some insulation last week and this week, I got to start putting it in the walls. It looks like a whole lot of it's done, but according to how many more bags I still need to put up versus how many bags I put up, I'm 60% of the way done. So, but I'm going to stop putting insulation up at this point and I'm going to start putting plywood on the walls. And then once I get plywood on the walls, I can start putting my counters and cupboards and all that stuff up. So I'm excited. I'm making some good progress again. Yeah, that's it for off-road related stuff I did this weekend. How about you, Coy?
I was obviously at Wanderlust Overland with you. Had a good time. Brought my Oscar Shovel Plus X fire pit, and
Yes,
everybody seemed to enjoy that. Really loving that thing. So thanks, Aaron from Oscar Plus Shovel or Axe Plus Shovel for giving that to us. And then, guess what just showed up today? My Brulu Ribbon Coalition Lost Trails Guidebook #2. So
very nice.
I literally opened this 8 minutes before show prep, so I just like did a speed power through it. Looks pretty cool. I'm really excited to getting into that. And then it was my birthday, so I'm now old. And just did not birthday stuff all weekend, but still.
That's what happens.
That's what happens when you're
Yeah.
old. No one cares. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Making stuff without you.
Nobody cares on your, at like 19, they stop caring about your half birthdays, which is hard enough, Like if you say I'm 19 and a half, people are like, you couldn't just say 19 or 20. I don't care. And then now at my age, people don't even care at your birthday. They're just like, oh, there you go. Hey,
I cared a little bit. I bought you lunch.
you did, but you're a close friend.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, general public. If you're at the store, somebody scans your ID. They're like, oh, hey, it's your birthday tomorrow. Now get out of here. Pay us.
Badlands cares, but probably only because you have a Colorado and they're trying to woo you to the dark side.
Please come fix my Colorado.
Rick, I don't know if you heard, but Coy had to reach out to them to get his gift guide. Apparently, there's some issue with not clicking the right buttons and getting that gift. I said gift guide. I meant the trail guide, not gift guide.
So I actually never did reach out to them. It just took longer than expected. I think I just kept meaning to reach out to them. So just wait longer for a while.
You did say something to him when we had him on the show. Maybe that used the wheel.
I don't think so, because they had my ad. I don't think so, because she told me to contact her later, and I never did. So,
well, Rick is a lot older than you. He might not have enough time to wait that
That's
long.
true.
So, Rick, you might.
He doesn't have so many birthdays to look forward to like me.
Oh man, glad to see you in the comments, Rick. I'm planning a trip down to Nevada again in July, so I'll make sure to get you an invite.
What about you, Ben? What have you been up to?
Well, I took that CDL test. I passed my pre-trip, which was the part I was worried about. The part where you're like, this is not broken and this is not damaged. Nuts, bolts, or cotter keys. And then I passed backing up, and then I failed the drive in the worst possible way. I feel. I was very upset. I'm still upset, and I have not been not upset about it at all. But
did you run somebody over?
No. That would have been epic. I would have been okay with that. No, so with the school bus, you're not allowed to run over a curb. It's like hitting a kid, because kids are supposed to be on the sidewalk. And I had, she was instructing me on the next portion of the test of I had to pull over and secure my bus. And so I pulled over to the side of the road while she was explaining that. And I was too close to the next corner that I was turning at, and I didn't have enough room to get outside of it enough. So when I went to turn the corner, just like barely a tread lifted up and went over that curb, but it lifted the bus up and dropped down the other side, and so I failed. Plenty of people have done it. I'm not the first. I won't be the last, but I've done much harder corners and had no problem, and then I hit a curb. So,
and when next time, just so you know, Ben, in the education, school bus industry, you don't want to say ran over a child. Say a child experienced, unexpected rapid compression. Yeah, you don't want to say you just ran them over. You got to kind of church it up a little bit.
I was going to ask, do you think that they, like she did that on purpose, that it was like a tricky part of the test? Like she has you pull over close to a corner. No,
she said, pull over or pull up to the stop sign and stop. And because the street was just so short, if I would have pulled over really quickly right there, I would have been fine. But I had kind of slow rolled it, like, should I pull over or should I just stop at the stop sign? Wasn't sure how long she was going to take, and I was worried that someone might pop up, and it was my fault. I should have just pulled up to the stop sign like I would normally and just waited and kept waiting until she was done explaining it. So I kind of shot myself in the foot on that. And I won't get it wrong. I retake the test next Sunday.
Do you have to do all the other parts or just the driving part?
The drive again, which is nice.
Oh, good.
And I'm not getting charged for it. I actually get paid for it, which is kind of nice.
So it's actually they're incentivizing you to fail a couple more times.
No, not at all. We are in
Well,
desperate need of drivers. So, um, I'm good.
Well, here's what I say you do next time. Instead of pulling over, like every single guy out there would want to do this. Just hit those stop signs and the flashers and just stop in the middle of the road. Like do that power move. Just lock the whole street up and let her explain. And then everybody's waiting for a kid to get off. And then you just kill the lights. So continue on. Enrage everyone around you.
On a Saturday. And then, Aaron, I really want to thank you for this. I used our Christmas guide. It's Puyallup, Rick. Stay away from Puyallup for on Sunday. Um, so, Aaron,
I wouldn't, Rick. I would go to Puyallup and like go find whatever CDL licensing place and just wait. Make sure you do it in a rented car so he doesn't recognize you. Just wait and just start terrorizing Ben as he's driving around in that school bus.
Yes.
I think Rick is actually a little worried about the unexpected rapid compression as well. You know, so
sorry, Ben, we're walking on you. What did you say about the gift guide?
I wanted to thank you for that Christmas gift guide because I got the most wonderful idea. I've been watching TikTok, and TikTok, they have these viral things that happen, and it's been very popular to put a diesel heater in your shop. And so I was like, oh, I should do that. And then that diesel heater you shared, it was just so awesome. I went and bought one, and it's in my shop now.
So now you have three diesel heaters?
No, just two.
You already have two.
No, I only had one. Oh, you're thinking Chinese 12-volt heater.
Well, when I said I needed to get one, you said I could borrow one, and because you have two.
Oh yeah. Well, I just held off on telling you that I had bought it because now it's also. If you look, it's plumbed. It exhausts out the back of the shop. I started it up this morning, put it on low, and it's 20 degrees warmer in the shop than it is outside, which is nice.
That is very nice.
Yeah, so it ran for about 9 hours and 46 minutes. So,
well, now you can like test your batteries and stuff in a good environment and see, because you built your own battery power pack. So,
and it uses Peterson plugs too.
Sure,
I attached them. But yeah, I liked that how it had that app for it, though the app's kind of garbage. But I mean, you can turn it on and off. That's good enough for me. And the remote is nice, like you said it was. So
cool.
Christmas gift idea. I bought myself a Christmas gift.
That's great. Looks like you got a new shirt too.
No, I've had this one.
Oh, it's just clean.
Yeah, I shower once in a while.
With your clothes on?
No, they get washed too. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, we've been. So I'm up in Montana. I guess in the off-road space, I do quite a bit of hunting up here. So most of my off-roading or off-pavement travel recently has been related to hunting. Got to pull a guy out of the snow a couple weeks ago. That was fun. We didn't get stuck ourselves this year, which we have done in the past. Yeah, no, that's been good. Otherwise, been travel a little bit for Thanksgiving and getting ready to. I'm in Montana, but heading back to Ohio, around the holidays for that. And yeah, overall been pretty good. So
got to head back to Ohio a couple times in the winter just to make sure that you get some of that rust underneath your vehicle and bring it back to Montana.
Yeah. I look for as much salt as I can possibly get.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's so bad back there. It really is. It's but luckily they don't do that in Montana, which really helps. So
yeah.
But yeah.
You said you live near Bozeman, right?
Yep.
Have you been up to the Ringing Rocks outside Whitehall?
I have actually. Well, I'm trying to think. So I've been in there's Ringing Rocks kind of between here and Butte. I'm trying to think. I don't know that I've been to the ones near Whitehall, unless
They're the ones outside Butte.
Okay, yeah, okay. So then, yeah, I've been up there. Yeah,
It's just on the other side of the pass or that
Yep.
little mountain range thing.
Yep. Yeah. No, we were up there. We actually did a marketing shoot up there this spring. Yeah, went up there and slashed some tires on a Can-Am and ran around for a while, and then came back. I have a part-time job in slashing sidewalls, so that was it.
Ben has that same job, but he does valve stems.
Oh, good. Well, luckily you guys got Colby valves around, so
exactly. That's how we got the job.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have a part-time job acquiring catalytic converters.
That's the other half of his part-time
That's the other
job.
half. That's like,
yeah. That's my after dark job. Yeah. Go run around town.
It's from 11 to 4.
Yeah. Third shift. But yeah. So no, yeah, it's a cool spot. It is a good spot up there.
This Week in Review was brought to you by 4 Patriots. Have you ever been concerned with the shelf life of the food you take camping? Since you're a listener of the podcast, we know you at least keep some emergency food stashed in your rig. 4 Patriots sells a variety of survival food and equipment that pair great with the off-road and adventure lifestyle. 4 Patriots set up a special page for you at 4patriots.com/FRN so that listeners of the Off-Road Podcast can see this week's discounts and deals before they go away.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month. And don't forget, they've got some Christmas patches, Christmas ornaments going on right now. Make sure you get those before the end of the year. And then Coy's showing off his Patch of the Month patch that he knows. Got that one too. Ben's is still in his mailbox.
No, actually, I got it out of the mailbox. It's now on the kitchen counter. It's been open though, at least. And yeah. We also have our patches. I should mention that. We've still got those on hand, still available to ship. And $13 for the first one shipped, $10 for any additional in the United States. If you're outside of that, hit us up and I'll get a shipping quote. Can't promise it's cheap because postage to foreign countries is not always the best, but do what I can. And that Lumen Locker patch, it glows in the dark. So yeah.
Have tire troubles ever left you deflated? Colby Valve has got you covered. Ever have a valve stem leak? Colby Valve makes reusable and easily replaceable valve stems that don't require you to remove your tire from the wheel. They work with your off-road rig, ATV, side-by-side, commuter vehicle, or even your tractor. Never be left stranded again because of a busted valve stem. They also have a tire repair kit for those punctures that keep you away from doing your favorite thing, wheeling. Make sure to check out colbyvalve.com or ask for them at your local off-road products store.
All right, our first news story is from Motor Trend, and we're talking about the Jeep Wrangler 4xe and how there's a fire recall risk on it. So it's been recalled for the 2021 to 2023 models. Jeep is asking you to park them outside until the vehicle is fixed by dealers. These pictures are terrible. Oh my goodness. I did not see these photos before before we went live. Wow. I like that the headlights are glowing in that photo though. That's a really cool picture.
I also wonder if that does that make it a better like winter wheeling rig then? Because then you can
better at winter wheeling.
Yeah,
it keeps you warmer.
Tire fires are quite warm.
Yeah, they go for a while. I mean, there's something to that.
The fact that Jeep hasn't offered Coyote Enterprises a 4xe is blowing my mind right now.
Oh man,
Oh,
that would be some irony. So they haven't identified the actual problem. They just know there's some sort of fault with the high voltage battery. And yeah, it's not a good thing. The good news is that it doesn't affect the PHEVs.
no, not all.
Sorry, it only affects the Wrangler 4xe, not the other Jeep or other hybrid vehicles by Stellantis. So yeah, they're just asking you to park them outside. So it says only 2 Wranglers have been lost due to fire starting. So it's just kind of precautionary. I wonder if that's a do you think that's a Google image there? The leave it unplugged?
I don't know. I know that this is real, and this is real. And that.
But are the
So they've only got 2 that are confirmed due to the batteries.
okay.
Okay, I would ask though, how many have burned down versus how many they've confirmed? Because there's a lot of that
Yes.
recall stuff. Like when the Ford Broncos, they're like, we've only had 26 motors blow. It's not an issue. Confirmed 26 is like, but how many people came in with blown motors? And you're like, denied. Also, if you think about it, like if one of these popped off in the right place, like California, midsummer, literally anywhere, and burned half the state down, like was it PG&E? They were on the hook for umpteen bazillion dollars. Like Stellantis could be too. They burned in the right spot.
Yeah, that'll be the one that wasn't actually. They'll deny that one claim, but they
build for as long as they can, for sure. I would
exactly.
My favorite part of this article is that notices of the recall will be sent to owners affected January 11th, 2024, with dealers receiving the same notice. Just so you know, guys, if you own a Jeep 4xe, park it outside because you're probably affected. Just leave it outside, okay?
It's like, but why are they waiting till January 11th?
I don't know. I'm like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to wait a month before we let you know.
Yeah, I don't understand why it has to take that long.
Well, in other news of other companies that love the environment, Volkswagen. I mean, now Scout, the new Scout's been announced. We talked about that when we first heard it being announced, and we now have a date. They revised the debut. They confirmed that it's going to be coming out Q3 of 2024. Here was the kind of pictures we saw. I'm pretty excited. Scouts have a wonderful history. They also have tetanus in them right now.
We saw a lot of them at SEMA.
We did. We saw some beautiful Scouts.
I hope the new Scout they make just barely different than Broncos, so that people struggle telling them apart like the old ones.
Yes. It's coming out with the SUV. Then it's going to come out with the truck version. And they said that Scout will do the pickup truck after they launch, but they had to get that iconic one first. They're saying 6-7 months after. They said that Manga Streyer's involvement has been in developing the Scout EVs. However, he's doubled down that production will be in America. In particular, it's going to be in South Carolina, and that Scout engineers would be the ones driving the development. VW reportedly invested $500 million at Manga Stryer. I'm probably pronouncing that totally wrong.
Wait, is this the same Steyr that makes military vehicles and guns and stuff?
It's Magna. MAGNA, Magnus Dyer.
Yes. So it's
Not
the
not manga. It's not a Japanese comic books.
there we go. So it's the Austrian third-party producer firm known for developing the G-Wagon. So Koeg, Keogh, he put the nail in the coffin surrounding the rumors that the platform is going to be based off of the MEB platform, which is what they use, the ID7. But he said it's not going to be that. They're doing a full new platform for it.
Okay.
And it's for its newly developed. It's not going to happen. It's 100% capable, American robust full platform. So that's pretty cool. The design's pretty much complete on paper, or it's complete on paper and CAD. Only thing left is to actually build one. And then once the underpinnings are dialed in. So we're looking at, what would that be? Q3? What is that? Fall?
Yeah.
So
That's the way all my vehicles are right now. Like the build is totally done on paper. All that's left is to actually build it. Like that's, I have a couple houses like that. Actually, I just have to like buy the land and build it. I have a doomsday bunker, a new shop, multiple vehicles I don't even own yet. I've actually totally built on paper. All that's left is to purchase them and then build them. Are you guys like super rooting for this? Or I find myself for some reason, I think it's because Volkswagen is bringing this. There's a little part of me that's like, I hope this thing sucks really bad.
I don't know. The Tiguan, or is it the Tiguan overseas, is actually pretty nice.
Tiguan is here.
Well, I mean the capable version that they have. Because
the Volkswagen pickup that's everywhere but America. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm getting Ridgeline vibes off this, and I just kind of, in a little way, I hope I'm right. You know, that they're like, it's a Scout. We paid all this money for the name, and then it's going to be like, oh.
Well,
when there's rumors that it's going to be on the ID4 or ID7, which I'm pretty sure is all unibody, that doesn't give me high hopes. Now I know he said that it's not that platform, but if there's rumors that it's a unibody platform, it's probably a unibody platform.
Yeah, well, it's an EV, so who knows what
the EV part doesn't. I think it bothers me most that Volkswagen could have just named this whatever they wanted and had a good off-road electric vehicle. Instead, they're like, Americans are so dumb. We're going to buy the Scout name. And like, it feels kind of insulting that they did it that way. Like, just sell me a Volkswagen that's good. I'll buy it if it's awesome. You don't have to feed it to me with bacon wrapped around it like a fat American. Like, oh, it's an international Scout.
I feel you. I get it. It's kind of like they're using the name to do whatever they're going to do with it, which is kind of how I feel about Jeep with their Recon that they announced.
Listen, I know Volkswagen doesn't want us to remember how they got started, but pretty un-American roots there, starting out. Old people's car.
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
Hang on. I just thought of one more thing to trash on the Scout for. The same people that were probably buying Scouts new in the 60s, there'd been like a 40-year-old guy. That was the same dude fighting Nazis like 20 years earlier. I'm just saying, if you do the math, Scout owners probably hate Volkswagen. Original Scout owners probably hate Volkswagen the most of anyone.
It's a good possibility. Definitely good possibility. Well, tonight we're joined by Andy from Glue Tread. And Andy, we have to start this off with the Fast Five facts. So, old or new vehicle, Andy?
I think I just broke up for a second. Did I miss something there? Did I?
Yep. So, can you hear me now, Andy? I
Uh-oh.
think phone's died.
Oh, he's muted. I think his headphones died on him. We can't hear you. You're muted for some reason on your end there. You're going to have to unmute yourself.
Can you hear us now, Andy?
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, gotcha. All right.
I don't know what
So,
off real quick. Sorry about that.
nope, you're all good. We're going to start off with the Fast Five facts. Andy, can you tell me new or old vehicle for you?
It's hard to say because I've really only ever had old ones. I am planning on a 24 Tacoma, but I think, of the ones I've had thus far, I had a 97 Tacoma that I really liked. I also had a 93 Toyota pickup that I really liked. So I just like the simplicity of it, So yeah, I don't know. I can only speak to the experience of an old vehicle, I guess. So yeah, we'll stick there.
Summer or winter camping?
Summer. Yeah.
Rock, sand, snow, or mud?
Mud, but only because that's where I grew up. I feel like it's in my blood. That's all we have is mud in Ohio.
Favorite vehicle brand?
Toyota.
And then favorite tire?
I like Patagonias. They're really good for sidewall repair because they they end up with sidewall damage. So it's really good for business. So yeah.
Burn.
That's the most underhanded compliment.
I love it.
Oh,
I love
boy.
it. Oh, this
Yeah.
is going to work really well into our questions later.
Perfect.
Any recommendations to someone new in off-roading?
Oh man, I would say I think the biggest thing that I've seen recently is that people are spend a ton of money to get all the right accessories and do everything perfectly. I think some of the most fun I had was doing it with like the least amount of things. Like obviously do it safely, like make sure you have, do it as safely as you can, but you don't have to have like a solar setup and a fridge and an awning and all this stuff. Like it's just get out there and do it and go with good people, and don't overthink it. I think that would be my biggest tip, I guess. So
how did you get started off-roading?
yeah, for me it started with, I grew up on ATVs and dirt bikes and things like that. So I actually started more like in a power sports space. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, so we did obviously some agricultural stuff as well. And that just kind of transitioned into, as I moved west, I spent more and more time. There's just more access to it out here, and just ended up spending more and more time off road. Yeah, so
What was the first vehicle you took off road?
Probably my grandpa's golf cart.
Classic.
If I was the one driving, no, yeah, I don't know. And then like realistically, I guess, I mean, we did some pretty stupid stuff in a 2000 Ford Ranger that I had in high school. There's some good ones from that, but yeah. So it depends on when you want to draw that line, but somewhere in between a golf cart, a four wheeler, and a 2000 Ford Ranger.
So, what's your favorite rig to hit the trails in?
I've always just been a Tacoma guy or a Toyota pickup for that matter. I've had 4 of them, and I just really enjoy them. I'm waiting for a 24, hopefully, if everything works out. And which will be interesting to see how that works out. But yeah, I've always just been I've had two Ford Rangers, and my grandpa would roll over in his grave if he knew I was talking about Toyota, since he worked in a Ford plant for 30 years. But yeah, I've definitely treaded towards the Toyota way recently. So
What would be your most embarrassing moment on the trail?
I was on an elk hunt with some buddies, and there's a lot of snow because we're in Montana, and one thing led to another. We ended up sinking the truck, and no cell service, a long way from help, and that we didn't have in reaches or anything like that. So we got to cuddle up in the back of my truck and spend the night out there. And we had a couple people try to help us throughout that, and all of those encounters were particularly embarrassing. And then as and of course, actually the act of getting in the back of the truck with all your buddies, because it's like 10 degrees out, and just all lay back there and try to sleep for the night. So yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. Yeah.
Did you have like a canopy or something?
Luckily, we were planning on doing some camping, but we didn't get to where we wanted to be. So we had a cap on the truck, and we actually had two vehicles. Only one of them got stuck, but the other one was not stuck, but it was in a place where you couldn't get out unless the first one got out. So we split up. Luckily, there was only two of us in the back of the truck and then two of us in the other rig. But yeah, that was.
So you guys were planning on sleeping, cuddling in the back of the truck, anyways. You just didn't get to where you're going.
Yeah, it was just an excuse. We had brought tents, but that was in hindsight. We underestimated how much snow was up there for sure. Which is we haven't made that mistake since, which is good. So
it's a good learning experience, right?
yeah, exactly. But
do you have a biggest win on the trail?
Yeah, actually, the opposite side of that is actually just this year we were out in a very similar area, and some guys had done the same thing that we had done. So they had sunk themselves. They had a tent set up, and they were like planning on being there for a while, but they didn't realize there was another snowstorm coming in. We're like, if you guys stay, you'll be here until June. Like, you have to get out tonight. So we were able to kind of chain up to them and get them pulled out, and it worked out pretty good for them. But they had no idea what they had coming for them if they didn't get out, which so it was kind of worked out all right. But yeah.
Do you have a favorite place to go wheeling?
Man, this is gonna sound really basic, but I love Moab. I've spent a lot of time down there. I also spent a lot of time rock climbing at one point in my life as well. And but any kind of off-road activity in Moab, power sports or wheeling or any I love it down there. I just love Southern Utah in general. So
I can't blame you. It's pretty awesome there.
Yeah.
Any places that you want to go that you haven't gone to yet, off-road wise?
Yeah. There's a lot of spots. There's a lot of places up here that I haven't been able to get to because I haven't had a capable vehicle yet, a capable enough vehicle yet. But I would also love to go do some stuff down through Central and South America. I think that'd be really cool. I went down there once, not in a vehicle at all. We flew down there, and it was for a totally different reason. But I think spending some time down there, or even in the Baja area, I think would be really fun. So.
All right, let's talk about Glue Tread. I guess the first thing you need to tell us real quick is maybe give us like a real quick high altitude pitch of what your product is and what it does, and then we'll get in the nitty gritty of it. If people can't figure out by the name Glue Tread, they need help.
Yeah, perfect. So Glue Tread is a company that my dad and I actually started together. My dad has an engineering background, and I had a background in product development. And the product can fix the sidewall of any off-road tubeless tire. Emphasis on off-road. We've been having a lot of questions about that recently. This is not DOT approved. So yeah, and it's a really easy process. You can fix the exterior of the tire. You don't have to take the tire off the rim. Sidewall damage, you essentially, in very simple terms, glue a patch to the outside of the tire. It can then hold air again and get you back to a safe place where you can get it permanently repaired or whatever that might be, or replaced. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Maybe if you're like in a third world country, it's okay to drive it on the highway, but not like America.
Yeah, we've got a lot of regulation against that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long does it take the patch to set for it to be drivable? Besides all the process.
Yeah. And you're gonna get this answer a lot, because there's not one set answer for every single one. It's largely dependent on how severe the damage is. With that said, just like pretty standard damage, maybe 1 or 2 inches or less. I mean, if you've put patches on before, if you've done it, if you know what you're doing, you can be back up and running, depending on how long it takes you to inflate, in like under 10 minutes easily. I mean, at this point, for me, I mean, I've done literally hundreds of these, so I can get a patch on and get back going in like 5 minutes. There's a lot of variables. How are you reinflating? How damaged is the tire and so on. But the point is that it can get you up and moving really quickly. Yeah.
So if an rig's aired down, will the patch flex? So like if I gash up my tire, would I be able to like repair it and keep wheeling?
Yeah. So short answer is yes. We rate up to 40 psi. That's again dependent on how severe the damage is. But I mean, there's a really good example of this. We ran the Rubicon Trail a couple years, 2 years ago now, on 4-slash tires, and I think that whole time we were running at like 4 psi or 6 psi or something like that. So yeah, and then we actually ended up airing those up later, and we're able to run them as well. So yeah.
Rick in the comments is asking, is that time weather dependent?
It can be. Yeah, so generally speaking, it takes longer for the adhesive to cure if it's cold out. Generally speaking, there's also some minor variation on humidity and stuff like that. And also how you put the patch on. We have an accelerator, which if you've used cyanoacrylates before is a pretty standard thing. You can spray the patch with an accelerator and it'll cure it immediately. If you want to wait for it to cure without the accelerator, there are some cases where that can provide a better bond. And it can also make it easier to repair later. And that in that case, it would take longer. But yeah.
What do you mean by repair later? I thought sidewalls, once they're cut, they're not repairable.
Oh, yeah, certainly. So what we
Well, if it's a side-by-side tire, you can always keep running that as long as you'd like.
Sure.
Right. And we also have people, and this honestly was not our initial intent, but this is something that this will be another recurring theme that like the off-road community has like figured out on their own. And I mean, we're learning all the time. I mean, this is something, it's a new technology, and we're learning from experience in the trail all the time. So one thing we're seeing a lot of now is people will, put a patch on, get home. Once they get home, they'll take it off the rim, patch the inside and the outside, and then use that as their spare. We also have people who just patch the outside, use as their spare. That also works. But, we definitely, patching the inside of a tire is more technical. There's other chemicals and release agents that are used in the manufacturing of tire that can conflict with the adhesive. And obviously, it would just take more time, right? You have to take the tire off the rim and all that. So, yeah. So, I mean, there are cases where people will do that and then use it as a spare down the road with a more robust patch. But again, at that point, once there's sidewall damage, it's not street legal. So,
let's say Ben has a set of Patagonia tires. How long can he
hypothetically?
Hypothetically, if Ben had a set of Patagonias, and hypothetically he blows the sidewall out or something along those lines, the tire comes off the rim and then smashes in something and gets a big hole in it. How long could he drive it that way? Like after he fixes it with this?
Again, back to the variable, right? It depends how bad is the gash, how big is it, how well was the patch applied. I mean, that's always going to be the thing. If you put it on poorly, it's not going to work at all. Or if you don't follow the instructions, it's not going to work at all. We had a review on Amazon this week, which we are actively trying to get down, of someone who had sidewall damage on their 2020 Kia Sorento, and they put the patch on there and drove it 10,000 miles until the tire was removed. Now, I want to start by saying don't do that and don't drive it on the road. And again,
Yeah.
we are actively trying to get their review off Amazon, which is very difficult to do. But point being, there's a lot of variables, but it will last a long time. I mean, I have some other, there's some guys, the Morphlate team, those awesome guys. That's actually who we ran the Rubicon with. I know one of the guys over there currently has like 4 or 5 patches on one tire, and he's on the Rubicon very frequently, and he just runs them. He's like, and eventually they rip off, or I get more damage or whatever, and I'll just take the patch off and put another one on, or I'll just put more adhesive into that patch and then secure it again, and then keep using the same patch without a full removal. So I don't know if that answered your question, but it can be a very long time.
I wonder if we could preemptively like get your largest patches and just preemptively put them along the outside of Ben's tires. There's a lot
That
of sharp rocks in the ditches.
and
I was-
curbs too.
I was wondering
You know.
after Ben wears these tires out, if we could use them to add tread. Like we just cut tread blocks and glue those to the actual tire. Theoretically.
So funny enough, that's actually how the company started. So my dad and I started this with the idea that you'd be able to add tread to a tire, which that did work. It was for ag use, right? For these
Yeah.
big tractor tires. And the idea was that you would just take this adhesive, put it on the tire as tread chunks, maybe 3 inches by 1.5 inches high, as chunks on the tire, and then retread the tire. Again, specifically for ag use. And then and then we ended up going down the sidewall route, obviously. But yeah, that's actually funny you mentioned. That's literally how it started. So
Can they? So my next question was going to be, can they be used in other places besides sidewalls? I wasn't thinking about the adding additional tread thought, but can you put them between tread blocks on that portion of the tire, or do they just go on sidewalls?
yeah, we have people that put it in between the lugs for sure. Also, just to clarify, I don't recommend putting the patches as more tread. Just in case that wasn't clear, that was where it started. It's not there now. But anyway, so yeah,
Like
we do have people put them between
DIY paddle tires.
yeah, yeah. I mean, my dad's messed around with stuff like that. We could go into that, but yeah.
No, I'm not saying that you should use them for this, but you ever seen the ice racers where they like put a screws through it?
Yeah.
Like I'm just off top of my mind. Like if a guy so wanted to, he could put screws through a patch and then glue the patch down. Instant ice tires. Obviously not recommended. Obviously. And you should definitely, no one should try that. Take a video and send it to us. Obviously. But it's just a thought just came out of my brain. So I was just going to say.
Yeah, I'm going to also say don't do that. But if someone does send you a video of that, I'd be interested if you want to share it. But I wouldn't recommend doing that. Yeah, the other thing that's actually fun, we've had several reviews of people come by, they've fixed radiator hoses with it. So they've taken the patch out and they blow a radiator hose and they fix it with that. I'm trying to think, and then there's just like normal weird stuff. People like garden hoses or agricultural hoses, or like an agricultural conveyor belt of some kind. We've had those. Those have been fixed. I'm trying to think. Yeah. So people use it for all kinds of crazy stuff. We've had people retread their hiking shoes and put them on their boots. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All kinds of stuff there. But yeah.
So, if I've bought a kit, how long does it last? Are there any parts in it that are going to expire or I need to worry about over time?
Yes. So thank you for bringing that up. This is something that we're trying to get the word out on. So the shelf life of the adhesive is between like 2 and 4 years. Very just dependent on several variables we can get into if you want. What we do though is we sell the adhesive by itself, and we sell it like very inexpensively. It's like $5 or something like that to get 4 more tubes of adhesive. And the rubber's not going to expire. The rubber's going to be fine. The accelerator that's in the kit, fine. All the other components of it will be fine. But that adhesive, like, it will cure over time. That's just the nature of the beast. It's a cyanacrylate. It's cured by UV light. It's cured by oxygen, and it's like impossible to remove those two things unless you put it in a vacuum, which obviously wouldn't work. But anyway, so like, yeah, I would say just check it like once a year. And all you got to do is you can take the tube and you just turn it and make sure there's still a bubble. If it's still liquid, you're good. So, and honestly, too, especially if someone listens to the off-road podcast here and they're like, "Oh, I checked my kit and it has, whatever, and it's the adhesive dried," just send us an email. We'll just send you more adhesive. Like, it's not a big deal. We're here to help make that work. Just make sure you check it and like spread the word on that. We've had some people now that have been like, "Oh, I went to use it and it was dried." And it's like, well, it says check, but what are you going to do?
So this is not in our question list, but that adhesive, what all will it stick to? Does it really have to be rubber?
Oh no. So it'll stick to, you can glue your fingers together. You need to be very careful. It is a cyanacrylate, like we were talking about earlier, that was initially like developed for medical use. Now, the engineering along this, with the cyanacrylates these days is like really developed. So if you just went and got like crazy glue from like Walmart, it's not going to work. It's like a very different compound, but it's in the same family. So yeah, watch your hands, watch your fingers, be careful where you put the adhesive for sure. So.
So you're saying I could glue rubber to any body part to add tread or make it bigger? That's what you're saying.
You can make your own sandals.
Yeah,
just glue them to the bottom of your feet.
Make my old Iron Man suit. Are you kidding me?
That's not iron. It's a rubber man suit.
Well, even better.
Michelin man.
Yeah.
I'm about to have the best knee pads on the job site.
You doing mud terrains or all terrains?
It depends on the day and how long it takes me to get the old ones off.
To get yesterday's pair off.
Yeah.
It'll be a minute. Yeah. You might want to commit at least like week long there.
Commit a week to it. Yeah.
Put that into your planning. Yeah.
All right. Are there times where you're going to need to make the repair from the inside of the tire? We talked about this a little bit. Can we go into that a little bit more? Like when I should think about using it from the inside and what it takes to do it from the inside?
Sure. I would say if you're going to do an interior patch, regardless, I would still put an exterior patch on it. I would do both. You get kind of two types of damage. You get like radial or axial. You either with the cords or parallel with the cords or perpendicular to them. So the axial cuts that like cut the cords in the damage have a tendency to, they're just more prone to bubble or something like that, right? And that's just because you're actually compromising the structural integrity of the tire. I guess even more so than if you're having a radial cut. So, the whole idea of this is that you can do all of the repair from the outside. Our biggest patch is 4 by 4.5 inches. That's the biggest patch that you'll get in one of our kits. So, I don't know, something like that ish. And if it's bigger than that, we do have people who have patched bigger gashes than that, where they've either glued 2 patches together on the edge and then put it on the tire and then glued the whole thing, or glued 2 different patches onto the tire and then put one on the seam. We've had that done. The idea, again, is that you can patch it without removing the tire from the vehicle, because obviously that takes tools and time, and nobody likes doing that. But once you get home, like I said earlier, if you want to turn that into like a spare that you're going to rely on or whatever, that's probably the place to do the interior patch. So,
we got a question in the comments: what size repair rubber comes with in the kit?
Yeah, depends on the kit. But we have sizes varying from 1.5 by 1.5 inches, 1.5 by 3 inches, and then 4 by 4.5. If you buy, we have several different kinds of kits as well. If you buy any kit that comes in a bag, that will have all 3 sizes in it. So then, so you have all that covered. And then you can also cut those to size, or if you maybe have to cut them around a rim or something, you can cut them with a knife, a pair of scissors, um, whatever you need. So
Fun shapes like a heart shape or
yeah,
things like that
hearts.
too.
Yeah, yeah. You could do a
Stars.
diamond if you wanted to. A star. Yeah, yeah. Snowflakes. You could fold it over and do the snowflake trick. I don't actually know if that would work. I wouldn't recommend that.
I should have asked this question earlier on. Can you talk us through the process now? We know how it works. We've got some ideas of things you can and can't do with it, things you shouldn't do with it, but probably going to do anyways.
Yeah.
Why don't you walk us through the process of someone using this?
Sure. I think so. The biggest thing is going to be just please look at the instructions. Like, I can't tell you how often we have people be like, "Uh-oh, is there some sidewall damage back there?"
Ben's rolling a tire out.
Should we do one live? I should have sent you guys a kit. We could have done one right here.
Oh, Ben would have done it. Here we go. Ben's rolling. Let's see if I can make him full screen.
Let's see.
Oh
yeah.
There we go. Ben's
that's
got a
nice
gash.
one. That's a nice one. Have you patched it
Yeah.
or tried to yet? Or that would be a no.
Not yet.
But that gash is just down to the steel belt. It's not clear through, I don't think.
Does that
You're
tire
muted,
still
Ben.
hold?
You're muted, Ben, so we can't hear you.
Does that tire still hold air? I guess that's another question. It does.
Yeah, it's holding there.
Great. Heck yeah. So we get, I mean, that's a great use case to where you can, you can prep that and put a patch on it and, do whatever you want with it. I mean, you can, you could run it as your spare. You can use it off-road, especially if it's still holding there. Like, that's a great use case for one of our 4-inch patches. Yeah.
Yeah, it never lost tire pressure. It never lost tire pressure.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great use case. So that one, for example, what you want to do, again, read the instructions is the first thing. All the kits come with instructions. The kits that are going out now also include QR codes that have videos and so on. But in short, the way that you do it is you need to prep the surface. So make sure there's no dirt or oil or anything like that on it. You also need to sand it down. So all the kits come with sandpaper in them. And if you have a way to sand without doing it by hand, like I'm here for it. You got a grinder or orbital sander, literally anything, belt sander, whatever. I'm here for that. But you can do it by hand. It just sucks sometimes if it's a big damage right in the lettering. So you'll sand it down, and then you'll take the bottle of adhesive and you'll glue the damage back together, and then you'll just let that cure. So hold it together, let it cure for in a perfect world, like 2 or 3 minutes, but at least 60 seconds. You want to hold it together. From there, you'll actually sand it again, because what will happen is when you put that adhesive on there, you'll have some excess. It's just inevitable, and then you don't want that to damage the bond going forward. So sand it for a second time, get the excess adhesive off, and then cut your patch to fit. And then you apply the adhesive either to the tire or the patch. This is another thing that we've been kind of coming to recently, just as we're getting feedback from the field. A lot of people, initially our instructions said, put the adhesive on the tire, which is in a perfect world what you want to do. But if you think about it, if your tire's on the vehicle, and it's in a vertical orientation, if you put a liquid on it, it's going to run down the side, right? So that was in a perfect world, you want the adhesive on the tire first. But if that's not possible, if it's too hard to do, you can put the adhesive in a drop pattern or in your hand onto the patch and then apply it to the tire. So from there, which I'll come back to the adhesive, but from there you want to hold it on the tire for, again, kind of similar, 30 to 60 seconds. In a perfect world, you're holding it longer. Like, you want to hold it as long as you can until it cures. You can use the accelerator if you decide to, and that'll just cure it right away. As soon as the accelerator hits that tire, you can watch the adhesive cure. It's like right now. And then you're good to inflate. I do want to come back, like I said, to the adhesive portion of it and how much adhesive to use. One of the problems we have is people like use an entire tube of adhesive and then put it on there and be like, oh, it didn't work. Well, there's a couple problems with that. First of all, it's going to take a long time for a whole tube of adhesive to work, right? Like, or to cure. I mean, it's just that in itself is not good. The other thing is when you do that, you get kind of this like glossy effect where the adhesive like cures, doesn't bond to the tire and like cures to itself. It's kind of a weird, I guess, occurrence. But that's why we recommend doing that dot pattern. There are people who are doing other patterns now, and there's mixed reviews on that. I recommend using that same dot pattern. There's a card that's in every kit that shows you how big the drop should be and how much you should space them. Use that drop pattern, put it on the tire, hold it there, and then continue the process. So I don't know how short that was, Aaron, but we got through it. So
I think that covered it, and you covered one of the next questions is why the dot pattern. So,
yeah,
I had seen that some people had put too much adhesive on, and the patch doesn't work, and
yeah,
that's why I guess it's important to read the instructions. I know we're men; we think we know what's best. We're going to do what we want, but read those.
Before we move on, though, so if you have a slash and there's raised lettering, we need to get all that raised lettering smooth. I'm assuming.
Yep, that's right, and it sucks. Yeah, there's just no way around it. You know,
I mean, if you have a sharp knife, can you just kind of trim some of that and then go at it with the
100%.
sandpaper?
Yeah, you can trim that. You can trim that off. You can sand it first. You can use a razor blade, or a whatever you got. Absolutely, yeah. But you definitely have to get that lettering, because if you don't, what happens is you get bonds everywhere else, and then that can leak along the lines of that lettering. You don't get a full bond, and then you're in trouble, and you got to take it off and do the whole thing over again.
So what you're saying is it's a good thing that the tire is not on the vehicle currently.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to work great for you, Ben. Yeah, no worries. So set it down. Get your belt sander out.
One of our listeners says, I've got a nearly new 35 with six plugs in the sidewall. Holy crap. I know what I'm going to order next. Off-Road Podcast discount code.
I think we have one. And also, let's see here. Josh, if you go on our website too and just send us a message on our website, I'll get you hooked up. So yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Yep, just send us a message through the contact page, and that'll come to me, and I'll get you hooked up. So thanks for listening. Yeah.
What is the gnarliest, most ruthless repair that you've ever seen done? Like what?
There's some cool ones out there. We've got one guy who uses mining equipment, and he had a employee that wasn't particularly happy with him and quit. And on the way out, slashed, some really expensive tires on these huge pieces of equipment. And he runs them in the ballpark like 100 PSI. And he bought it and patched inside, outside on both. And he's been running them for over a year at 100 PSI. So that's super cool. We recently were down in Arizona with Dave Souza and the Off-Road, Overland Journal. And we were trying to find the limit of the patch, right? So we ended up at like 5 or 6 inches. No, it was the most we could do corner to quarter with that patch. So it was over 4 inches, probably 4.5-ish. And we went across the cords intentionally and cut it. And that was really gnarly. It got us a really long way. And then we got down to, I don't know, we were, maybe a half mile from camp, and then it just got really ugly. But that was really bad. And we've seen some other pictures, guys who have butted patches up together. Those are always good ones. The one, and then that guy, the Kia Sorento or whatever it was, which is not legal, and don't do that. But it's been fun to see some of these stories come in for sure.
We've got Rick in the comments asking what kit you'd recommend for Jeep off-roading. Is there a difference
Totally.
between the complete kit and the 4x4 kit?
Yeah, the biggest difference. So the 4x4 kit is sidewall repair only. Everything you need to do sidewall repair. Complete kit includes Colby valves, which I know everyone here is already familiar with Colby valves, but we're huge fans of them. Great product, made in America, made in the U.S. product, which is something that we're huge on, and also just really quality. So that also includes the Colby valves, and then the complete kit also has what you would need to plug a tire as well. So
And
T handles and plugs.
Puncture
are-
kit.
Yeah. So
And those are
no.
metal tools in that too, right?
Yeah. So we outsourced some of that. We ended up with some T handles that, frankly, we aren't super stoked with. Actually, this is the first time that we're talking about this, so super cool. What we're actually doing, we went back to the drawing board, designed and machined our own T handles, and everyone who has bought a complete kit up to this point is going to, anyone who's bought it on our website, because we can't go, Amazon doesn't let us do this, but anyone who's bought a complete kit on our website up to this point, we're going to be sending a free replacement, upgraded, made in the US T handle to everybody. So that's something that'll happen. We're just waiting on the logistics of that are confusing because we're now machining our own products and it's a different process and all that, but that'll hopefully happen within the next month or so. And we'll continue to do that. A couple years ago, we improved our rubber run, or our rubber formula, and we replaced all of the rubber of anyone that had purchased a kit that would have affected for like the preceding 6 or 8 months. Like, it's just really important for us to like take good care of the customer. And it's like, everything we do is just like very customer focused. And we know that like when you need this kit, you really need it. So we want to make sure you have the best you can. So anyone who is planning on purchasing, you can get our kits on Amazon, but if you get them on our website, we have your information and we're going to send you upgraded stuff when we get it, without having to have you ask or anything. So it's just really important for us.
That's awesome. Is there an instance where glue thread isn't the right tool for the job with the tire?
Oh, certainly. 100%. I mean, if you like drive over a nail, just use a plug. Those things are great. They're like, I mean, whatever. If it's something that you can simply plug, like, definitely do that in the tread area, right? There's also probably some instances. I mean, there will if you have like, a 6-inch gash on your tire that's axial, that goes across the cords. Like, I want to say it's going to work every time, but if you've never put a patch on and that's the first time you've done it with something that severe, like that's reason for concern for sure. I'm not saying you can't do it. I've done it, but one thing that we're noticing is there's not a whole lot of communal knowledge around sidewall repair, right? Because it's something that a lot of people haven't heard of. They've never done it before. It's like, how many times do you put a plug in a tire, right? Like dozens probably. So everybody knows how to do it, but like that's not everyone knows how to patch a sidewall now. So like practice if you can, and if you go to any of these overland or off-road conferences, there's always people showing you how to do it there. Practice it, get good at it, and then you can repair some of that bigger damage. And it's like anything, just got to practice. So
yeah. I was going to mention that I love that you guys also make an agriculture kit or agriculture use kit. I think that's pretty cool. And I'm wondering if it's just different patch sizes or is it different compound? Like if I have the 4x4 kit and then my tractor at my house gets a stab inside, can I just throw that on there or should I use
100%.
the ag kit?
No, go ahead. Yeah, it's
Okay.
So that rubber formula is the same. The adhesive is the same. The agricultural kit, the biggest difference there is that it does not include our accelerator. And yeah, so we just honestly, a big reason, same thing with the side-by-side kit. We've got 4x4 side-by-side and tractor. All of our kits will have the best rubber we can provide and the most up-to-date, best adhesive we can provide. The difference in that is we just had so many people asking, I have a tractor, or I have this, got a John Deere or whatever, which kit should I get? So it's like, it's more to help people understand what works best for them. The biggest difference is the assortment of rubber between the kits and whether or not it has accelerator. So, but it'll be the same rubber
just different sizes, and then same adhesive.
Any bigger size? Are they any bigger? Because tractor tires can be pretty big, or is 4.5 by 4 the biggest?
Yeah, they're not at this point. We're toying with the idea of doing some bigger stuff down the road. It's just, once you get into those that bigger damage, it's just more structural damage and so on with the tire. It's harder to put on when it's that big. So there's a lot of other things you can run into. That's why we kind of cap it there at 4 by 4.5. So
Okay.
yeah.
So let's we touched it for a second, but non-tire uses for glue tread. I know you said you saw some radiator hose repair, which is genius. I have not thought about that at all, but it makes perfect sense. I mean, can I use this? I could patch aft with this if I really needed to, right? Like,
yeah. You broke up for a second. Was that a raft you said?
yeah, I mean, there's non-tire. Like, what are the best non-tire uses you've heard of or seen?
Yeah, the biggest thing. So like, the adhesive does not do well with silicone. So it depends on what raft you're on. But like for some of the stuff we touched on earlier, my favorite's always the radiator. I think those are cool. There was a guy who commented, and I haven't been able to get a hold of him. We saw this comment on social media where he cracked his rim and was somehow able to use the adhesive to fix the rim. Now, I don't know how that would work or how that's possible, and I haven't been able to get a hold of him. But that's something I want to understand more, try to get some pictures of. I don't recommend. I'm not saying that will work. It's just like a review that we saw on Facebook a couple weeks ago. But yeah, and then we've always got the funny stuff, the hoses, like I said, the agricultural conveyor belts, the stuff like that, shoes, knee pads, for work.
Yeah.
If
I was gonna
Say I
say
have a
snowmobile.
tire that's not balancing, I could just glue some hunks of rubber to it to clear back.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
I'm going to throw this out because I'm an off-road guy. I don't have bead locks because they're really expensive. Can I just take this adhesive and just glue my tire to the rim?
Glue the tire to the wheel.
That I haven't heard that one yet. I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah. But
Man.
sure
No, that
Les
wasn't my
Schwab's
question. I didn't say if you could recommend it. I'm saying technically, could I do this?
That's a really interesting question. I mean, my concern would be that you'd be adhering like rubber and like aluminum.
Yeah, or steel.
Or steel. Yeah. I don't think so. I'm sure that it would not work reliably for a long period of time. There's a chance that it might work unreliably for a short period of time. So that's take that.
Yeah,
how you want.
Similar to my work ethic then. At your house, are you just gluing it to the wall for door stops? Like, I feel like every cabinet would have a piece glued on the back of it. Like,
I got the silent close.
I just walk around looking for reasons to glue that to stuff. I had an inexhaustible reservoir of glue treads.
You got a gun that kicks really hard. You glue it to the buttstock, so
extend that buttstock a little bit.
I'd resole so many boots. Like,
yeah, I do end up. It's funny when my dad and I were doing a lot of testing with this stuff early on. We had several occasions where we'd glue our hands together, and we'd have to like go home and get like nail polish remover to get our fingers to come apart.
Wow.
And that was extended. We were trying that was a whole different story. So, but yeah, coming back to that, like, be careful when you're using it for sure.
Last question. There seems like in my kit, there's more than enough glue. Yeah. So I'm camping and we get pretty pranky on each other. Sure. Somebody falls asleep, I could just glue them to their shoes. Like, this glue is pretty good stuff. It could be used to glue pretty much anything.
Yeah, it'd be pretty fun if you could have two buddies that fell asleep and you could glue their shoes to each other. Like if they were laying,
glue their
shoes to each other. That would be a good one. Yeah. Yeah. No, there should be plenty of adhesive in there for some good time. So.
For shenanigans.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Now I'm worried about the snow trip coming up in a month.
Well, it's cold. It'll take a long time for it to dry. I'm thinking
I'm
more
gonna
like
definitely-
Moab.
I'm going to definitely check the toilet seat before I sit down.
If we just, if we go to Moab later this year, remember how we dug holes under all Ben's tires in the snow and then set it down so he's stuck? We could glue his tires to a big slick rock and then just
glue his tires to the ground.
glue it to It's just a thought. Like, I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, Ben, but I'm thinking. Wheels are turning.
Nick's in the comments saying Ben's gonna start carrying a nail polish remover around when he's camping.
It's a wise idea. It's a
So
really good idea.
I think I'm gonna just skip the nail polish and go straight to a can of acetone, a big one, and then when I grab it, there will probably be glue on that too. So.
The acetone is stuck to your hand. You go to open the lid, now your hand's stuck to the top of it. You can't open it. I'm stuck.
I guarantee you, the first thing I'm doing is I'm gluing that paint thinner lid down. So, and then Ben's gonna be full Edward acetone hands after that. So. I didn't realize I was driving around with that much power, like that kind of power in my back seat for the last year, and I haven't been exploiting it this entire time.
Yeah, Aaron and Ben, I apologize for letting them in on that. So I wish you guys the best. Yeah.
So if I put the glue in a sealed container like a squirt gun, it would take it a while to dry. Like I could spray it probably before it hardened.
Honestly, probably. Yeah.
I love how he doesn't hesitate to answer these literally loaded questions.
Dollar store squirt gun.
Yeah, your trigger's eventually going to get stuck.
Yeah, sure. I know it's it's a disposable item, but
oh, that's good.
Well, I'll definitely be reaching out to Glue Tread after the show. I'm going to need like a half-gallon container of it. None of these little tiny bottles.
yeah, we'll get you hooked up. Yeah, give us a shout.
I just need to fill a weed sprayer with it. Is all.
Oh yeah,
tires are sticking to this slick rock really well.
Oh man.
Well, all right, Andy. Really appreciate you coming on, but I've got one more question for you. Yeah. Where can our listeners reach you?
Yeah, so we're obviously Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We've got websites, just gluetread.com, GLUETREAD. You can get the stuff you can purchase on Amazon if you want. Obviously, we always prefer if you get it through the website. That'll also help customer service and stuff like that. We've also got 800 number. My dad picks up the 800 number. He loves it. He's loves helping people through repairs and stuff like that. And so I mean, if there's anything we can do, you can also reach out on our website, and we're happy to answer questions and stuff like that. I just just if you type Glue Tread in there, it'll come up, anywhere on Google. So
Coy, I hope tomorrow on your lunch break you call his dad on that 800 number and just start firing ideas at him.
Just like, so if I accidentally glued my butt cheeks together, how would I, I'm gonna start calling him with just insane hypotheticals. Yeah. They'll be like, Andy, it's that weird guy again.
He keeps calling.
We do have a block feature on the 800 number, so yeah, just use those calls sparingly, or get a burner or something.
Start randomizing my number.
But yeah. So
good. It's all good information for me to know.
For sure.
Not saying I'm going to use it for evil. I will, but I mean, not right now. All right, guys. Next week's episode, all about brakes. We're gonna break down a bunch of stuff about brakes. And yes, that pun was intended.
Nice,
but not about breakdowns.
Yeah.
Also, I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you guys in the comments. You really do help make this show as amazing as it is. We appreciate you guys. If you want to be part of that, make sure you watch us live Monday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Most of the comments are happening in YouTube, but you can comment on any other socials where we're streaming to. We really do appreciate you guys. Thanks for helping us grow, sharing us with your friends, and God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren Colby Valve and 4 Patriots to see all of their great products. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our Linktree account or by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, and be safe and courteous. Thanks for listening.
You know,
Did you guys ever, when you were younger, like tape malt liquor into your hands and scream Edward 40 hands like that was like a drinking game?
Yeah, I've seen that. We're not
Yeah, yeah.
recording now, right? Yeah.
oh no,
Oh yeah, we are.
Yeah, I've seen that game before. Yeah.
we've have these last second questions in here. I've got to ask, Coy, you didn't ask if it'll fix your 4L60 in your Colorado. We'll
Because I know nothing can fix a 4L60. Like that's a rhetorical question.
And then Josh is asking if it'll help keep my wheels on my rig. Well, is that adhesive that good?
Like to glue your lug nuts on.
Apparently, yeah.